Here's West Wing, Season 6, Episode 20, In God We Trust. This is the Republican perspective episode. So, as we kind of figured out that the Vinnick is going to get the Republican nomination, Alan Alda, who plays him, is kind of brilliant in this role because he's a moderate Republican who has to answer questions about God, because even if you're a Democrat, you got to answer questions about God. But here's Vinnick about a guy who doesn't really go to church, that doesn't really think he believes in God, and basically it's a Republican's worst nightmare because there's such a strong voting inside, and you need this God vote, so to speak. I think it happened in the 80s where the evangelists came strong with the cable television, and then they started getting an agenda. They started changing the conversation because they had a huge audience, and of course they can, if someone they endorse like Reagan, for example, or George W. Bush, for example, or George Bush the senior, for example, this gets a huge people to vote out for the Republican Party, and this is a key part of their vote. And the Vinnick needs to find a fine balance. He needs to get a VP candidate who does believe in God, has the South evangelistic audience, because the one thing you don't want is that you don't want these God believers not to vote, because that's even worse than them voting for somebody else. But we're also learning that this guy is great. This guy's a man with conviction and how he can easily win, and because the Republican is all tied up with 3 candidates, and we're going to go with that in the next couple episodes. But like how this guy is interesting, and of course there's a great scene with him and with Alan Alda and Bartlett, and basically like eating ice cream in the White House kitchen. It's kind of cool that these guys kind of respect each other, but they have different ideologies, but they're both great people and they're both leaders. That's my review.